It's your item. It's your fault.
I'll read it.
All right.
I should have brought a copy with me.
Welcome back from our lunch break. We'll go ahead and move on to our 6.8 public hearing. Adopt ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the Lake County Code and adopting by reference the 2025 California Building Standards Code, known as the California Code of Regulations. Title 24. Do I read through it, Lloyd? Okay. Title 24, Part 1 through 6, 8 through 12, incorporating the 2025 edition of the California Administrative Code. Title 24, Part 1, the 2025 edition of the California Building Code. Title 24, Part 2, the 2025 edition of the California Residential Code. Title 24, Part 2.5, the 2025 edition of the California Electrical Code. Title 24, Part 3, the 2025 edition of the California Mechanical Code. Title 24, Part 4, 2025 edition of the California Plumbing Code. Title 24, Part 5, the 2025 edition of the California Historical Building Code. Title 24, Part 8, the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code. Title 24, Part 9, the 2025 edition of the California Existing Building Code. Title 24, Part 10, the 2025 edition of the California Green Building Code. Title 24, Part 11, the 2025 edition of the California Reference Standard Code. Title 24, Part 12, the 2025 edition of the California Wildland Urban Interface. Title 24, Part 7, the 2024 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code. Community Development Director, Ray Turner.
Thank you, Mireya Turner, Community Development Director. I am more than happy to turn this over to Chief Building Official Jack Smalley.
So a yes vote on all, right?
Great way to start.
I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
I have one.
Yeah, just so we're clear, this is a regular update of the state codes that happens every 3 years. This year, there is Part 7, which is the Wildland Urban Interface that has been printed in its own version in Part 7. Those codes actually came from the existing residential code and the building code 7A. So they're really not new. There are some updates to them, but it's in its own book now. And these codes are set to go into effect January 1st. So no matter how it goes here, this is state law. It has to. We have to enforce them.
I realize it's state law, and it's not like we can really say no. I just was wondering if it's going to cause insurances to go up, or if it's going to make anything more difficult, or have any other financial burdens on anybody.
Well, with any California regulation that changes, all those scenarios are possible. But I do have to say, with the new WUI code, it is a little bit stricter than the 2 versions of the other codes. And if those are followed, and if Zone 0 comes out, then fire insurance could possibly be substantially smaller for the fire insurance. That's the whole thing with the IBHS, the insurance thing. That's the whole reasoning behind that, was to try to get smaller.
To reduce it.
Yes.
Well, that's a good sign.
So.
Thank you.
Supervisor Spatier.
I think the fact that it took that long to read the title gives us an insight of the difficult process people have to go through to build in the state of California. There are so many things to pay attention to that you don't know unless you have somebody that you can approach at the window that knows what's going on, in order to make sure that we can build appropriately. Appreciate these being here. Not always a fan specifically, but we don't have a choice. So one thing that I would like to look at changing, and I did speak with Mr. Smalley about it, and I think we're in agreement on how it can be solved. On the 4th page, it's talking about fireworks, and it says, it's on 4F.2B1, where it says prohibition. It says the possession, manufacture, storage, sale, handling, exploding, and use of fireworks as defined in section 5.3K herein, which 5.3K is not within the document that we're looking at, but it is in our municipal code under definitions. And under definitions, safe and sane fireworks are part of the definition of fireworks. And so that, to me, complicates matters, because I don't want to approve something where we're saying it's illegal to possess something that is legal for you to possess, just not use. And so I've talked to Mr. Guintavano as well. I would love to say as defined in, and put the state code where it does kind of decipher what is safe and sane and what is not safe and sane, because I don't want to, again, put somebody, say yes to a rule that now basically states that, oh, don't worry, we're going to ignore the rule because you're allowed to have safe and sane, but we just made a rule that says that you're not. So I just would like to see if we can do the right thing, which is the state code, rather than our own definition that may have been from prior to 2022. I don't know when the last time was that we changed the definition of fireworks.
And I don't know when that definition was changed either. And safe and sane is only mentioned 3 times in the current and the new fire code. But I agree with you, Bruno. There does need to be a definition in the 1.4G and the 1.3G, because
Which is the state fire code 1.3 and 1.4.
yeah, 1.4G class fireworks are the safe and sane, the sparklers, the things like that. So, and if you look at it, there's not much difference in the wording of both of them. So, putting that 1.4G, I think, in there somewhere, as the safe and sane fireworks, would be important to me.
And would your suggestion be that where it says except for the following, that then it would state which one would be the exception to the rule?
Yes.
Because I also struggle with that, because it says handling and exploding, and we know that it's, so anyways, I just wanted to bring it up. It's conflicting, and I would like to see if there's a way to deal with the conflict. My last comment, and it doesn't have to change today, but I do know that times are hard. We do want to try and make things as easy for businesses to start. And I know that it's not a hard and set fact that you have to have 10 acres in order to have agricultural buildings. Other counties do have less than 10 acres. I don't want to change anything today, but I would like to see if there is consent from the board to maybe look into this and maybe approach the groups that would be the best to approach, maybe the Ag Advisory Board, just to see if that's a possibility, because one of the most difficult aspects of being able to get into agriculture is the ability to purchase land. And saying, if you want to access ag-exempt buildings, you need to at least have the ability to purchase 10 acres versus 5 acres, I think potentially changes who can engage in our agricultural economy. And so that is my reason of offering, since it's right in front of us. I thought I'd bring it up.
I like it.
If there is board consensus, I would recommend making that a piece of the discussion when the board considers the agricultural element for the Lake County 2050 update later in 2026.
I am perfectly fine with that.
That's fine. All right. Right. Did you have something? Anyone? I'll open it up for public comment. All right.
Yep, that's the property owner from our first appeal.
All right.
I came in for something else. I'm not sure. I was supposed to have been here at 11, and I think I kind of missed the boat, and you guys are talking about something completely different.
Yes. So,
So,
yes, ma'am.
I am-
We're on 6.8. That item was earlier.
Yes,
Follow
so
up
I
with,
guess I
community
needed to call that number to see where I stand, huh?
I think you would need to follow up with community development and call them or come visit them and go from there. But as for discussing it in this format, we're not going to do that.
I get that. Okay. All right. Goodbye. Good luck, you all.
Thank you. Betsy, if you'd like to unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Someone's just knocking on my door. What Bruno brought up is something that is of concern to me in many facets of our local ordinances that are contained in the municipal codes. Because we have changes that happen a lot, but I haven't been able to figure out how you translate those into actual changes in the municipal codes that are available to the public. There's a gap in there, so it's one thing to make a decision to say, put that 1.4G in there, because I think it's important. It's another thing to ask, how does that happen? When does that happen? Who's in charge of making that happen? Because the public goes to those municipal codes, not to reports on the Board of Supervisors to find out what the rules are. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, well, I'm going to close public comment. Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah, I believe we have gotten better at our process of updating the municipal code within the website that shows the municipal code. I'm wondering if you can describe maybe the potential timeline for when those get updated, if there are changes that we're being asked to approve.
We are in the process of getting Chapter 21, or the zoning code, added to the municipal code. So it won't be housed in two different places, and it will then also be updated and, updated through Civic Plus, I think. I would defer to the administrative office regarding their timeline for the regular updates for all other chapters of the code. That'd be, yeah.
Sends the recent ordinances out actually this week to be codified with Civic Plus. It used to be done by Muni Code, but now it's done by Civic Plus. I think we do them twice a year. I'm not sure about the billing, but it's usually twice a year. I lump all of them, and they do a supplemental run, and then they upload them all, if that helps anybody.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we're at, someone needs to offer the ordinance, I think. Right, Lloyd, am I wrong?
Wondering if I can get comments back from the board on their thoughts of the conflict right now, where it basically says it's illegal to possess Safe and Sane, which we know Lakeport sells Safe and Sane. Just kind of curious if we're looking to amend that and fix it, or if we choose to ignore it.
I'd like to amend it.
Can I have another question on that, just so I understand? Because Lakeport does sell Safe and Sane. They're only legal to possess inside the city limits during the first 4 days of July.
Is it possession or
It's possession, like if you're caught with them outside of July 4th, anything other than the 1st through the 4th, then it's illegal. That's my understanding.
When does the stands open up to sell them?
July 1st
July
at
1st.
9 a.m. and it closes on July 4th. I'd have to go back and look at the ordinance, but that's my recollection of it, that you can't, it's not legal to possess after that day. So is that what you were thinking of the Lakeport ordinance? Or-
I was just thinking that I think the state of California has rules on what is allowable for fireworks. Certain cities have banned fireworks, certain cities and counties have chosen to allow them based on California law. I don't think it's illegal, and this is where county council needs to come in. I don't think it's illegal to possess, it's illegal to use in certain areas due to the fire threat.
And I thought it was illegal to possess them at any time in the county of Lake, from what, I'd have to look to, I don't want to say that I know that for a fact, but that's my recollection, that you can't possess fireworks of any kind within the county of Lake.
Lloyd?
Certainly that staff can look into that further. We've got the, under building regulations, you've got the definitions under Lake County Code Section 5.3. For fireworks, a definition of fireworks, which does include safe and sane labeled fireworks under the Lake County Code definition. Now, for purposes of the proposed ordinance that's before your board, I believe what is being suggested as far as a potential or possible amendment would be on page 4, under the subheading or subsection 4F.2B1, the clause that states as defined in section 5.3K, which I think references the Lake County Code. The proposed amendment would be to change that to state as defined in the California Fire Code, which may make it consistent. And that's for further clarification for your board.
Go ahead.
So, and maybe I was incorrect, and what Vice Chair is saying is correct. Maybe that was the intention of past boards, was to say it is illegal to possess any, which is still slightly awkward to me, because anyways. And I maybe ask for a follow-up from county council to look it up and see if, what was the past intentions, just to see where we're starting from. And then go from there once we figure that out, because maybe I was incorrect and you are correct, Vice Chair, that that was the case.
And either way, I think it would make sense to have it confirmed. I'd feel more comfortable. But if you're correct, then I'd be fine with it.
So we need clarification on what our current law is.
I'm sure Lakeports wants everybody, no matter where they are, to come and buy their fireworks, though. And use them only there.
I'm not sure where we're at.
So I'm okay with moving forward today as is, with the general concept that county council will get back to us and let us know.
Okay. All right.
It does. State law will go into effect. Our ordinance will follow it.
Mr. Lloyd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So it would consist of two motions. And just to confirm, no amendments to the ordinance as presented to your board for purposes of approval of first reading. The first motion would be the motion to approve the first reading of the ordinance to be read in title only.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
An ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the Lake County Code and adopting by reference the 2025 California Building Standards Code, known as the California Code of Regulations, Title 24, Parts 1 through 6, 8 through 12, incorporating the 2025 edition of the California Administrative Code, Title 24, Part 1, the 2025 edition of the California Building Code, Title 24, Part 2, the 2025 edition of the California Residential Code, Title 24, Part 2.5. I think I'm on this line. The 2025 edition of the California Electrical Code, Title 24, Part 3. The 2025 edition of the California Mechanical Code, Title 24, Part 4. The 2025 edition of the California Plumbing Code, Title 24, Part 5. The 2025 edition of the California Energy Code, Title 24, Part 6. The 2025 edition of the California Historical Building Code, Title 24, Part 8. The 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, Title 24, Part 9. The 2025 edition of the California Existing Building Code, Title 24, Part 10. The 2025 edition of the California Green Building Code, Title 24, Part 11. The 2025 edition of the California Reference Standards Code, Title 24, Part 12. The 2025 edition of the California Wildland Urban Interface, Title 24, Part 7. And the 2024 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code. Hopefully I got them all.
Yes. Good job. Lloyd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the second motion would be a motion to approve that the draft ordinance be advanced to the next Board of Supervisors meeting for consideration and possible adoption.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With that, I think it's now closed session time. I'll start reading those off. Okay. The guy on Trading Places now. All right. Public employee appointment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, interviews for Chief Public Defender, appointment for Chief Public Defender. 8.2, conference with labor negotiator, A, Chief Negotiator Susan Parker, County Negotiators Stephen Carter, Casey Moreno, Pam Samick, and Diana Rico, and B, employee organizations LCDSA and LCCOA. 8.3, public employee discipline dismissal release. 8.4, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, FERC proceeding number P77, Potter Valley Hydroelectric Project. 8.5, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Sorensen versus Lake or County of Lake et al. And with that, we'll go into closed session. Thank you.